I watched my father's hand shake as he signed the bankruptcy papers, and I felt absolutely nothing. 3 months earlier, that same hand had pointed at me across his mahogany desk in Manhattan and said the words that changed everything: "You're grounded, Mia. No credit cards. No apartment. No car. You'll live under my roof until you learn respect." I was 32 years old. I had 2 master's degrees. And I was about to become his worst nightmare. My name is Mia Chen, and I grew up in a world most people only see in movies. Penthouse apartments in New York. Private jets to the Hamptons. Galas where my dress cost more than most people's cars. My father, Richard Chen, built Chen Global Industries from nothing. He immigrated from Taiwan with $200, and by the time I was born, he was worth billions. People called him a genius. I called him Dad, and I spent my entire childhood trying to make him proud. But here's what nobody tells you about growing up in that world: nothing is really yours. Your achievements, your dreams, even your identity. You're just another asset in his portfolio. My older brother Marcus understood this perfectly. Harvard Business School. Joined the company at 23. Married a senator's daughter. He played the game exactly right. I tried to play it too. I graduated top of my class from MIT with a degree in computer science and artificial intelligence. Dad smiled for exactly 3 seconds before asking when I'd start at Chen Global. But I didn't want to optimize his supply chains. I wanted to build something that mattered. So I went back for a second master's in social impact and technology. I developed an AI algorithm that could identify market manipulation, insider trading, and corporate fraud. I called it Athena. My thesis advisor said it was revolutionary. I was so excited to tell Dad. That dinner is burned into my memory. His favorite restaurant in Tribeca. I had my laptop ready. He listened for exactly 4 minutes before cutting me off. "This is what you've been wasting time on? Some whistleblower software?" He set down his fork. "You could be making $50 million at Chen Global. Instead, you're building something that attacks me. It's not attacking anyone. You're naive." He signaled for the check. "When you're ready to be serious, we'll talk." If you're watching this and you've ever had a parent dismiss something you poured your heart into, drop a like. Because you know exactly how that moment felt. I did what I'd always done: I tried harder. I interviewed at Chen Global and lasted 6 months. The breaking point came when I noticed irregularities in supplier contracts during a quarterly review. Payments that didn't match invoices. Delivery schedules designed to avoid audits. I mentioned it to my supervisor. 2 hours later, I was in Dad's office. "What did you think you were doing?" His anger was cold and precise. "Questioning our suppliers?" Marcus was there too, leaning against the window. "Maybe she needs more time to mature." That word. Mature. Like I was a child. I quit the next morning. For the next year and a half, I lived off my trust fund and worked on Athena in secret. I rented a small office in Brooklyn, hired 2 programmers, and refined the algorithm. It could track patterns across thousands of transactions. It learned, got smarter with every dataset. And it could predict market manipulations before they happened. I was careful. I didn't test it on Chen Global directly. But Dad was watching. A Tuesday evening in April, my phone rang. Dad's assistant. "Your father needs to see you immediately." When I walked into his office, there were 4 other people there. Marcus. Dad's head of security. His lawyer. And a man in a dark suit I didn't recognize. Dad's face was a color I'd never seen before. Did you think I wouldn't find out? His voice was shaking. Your algorithm. Your spying software. I know everything, Mia. It's not spying. It's corporate espionage. Marcus cut in. You work here for 6 months, quit, then start building software that could access our systems? I never accessed anything. The man in the suit spoke. Miss Chen, I need you to turn over all files related to this project. My personal investigator, Dad explained. He's found your communications with reporters at the Wall Street Journal. My blood went cold. I'd reached out to one journalist once, asking about whistleblower protections. Just questions. But I could see how it looked. You've forgotten that everything you have comes from me, Dad said slowly. Your education. Your money. Your opportunities. All of it. Mine. He walked around the desk. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to delete that algorithm. Close that office. And you're going to come home. I'm 32 years old. You have nothing that I didn't give you. Your trust fund? I control it. Your apartment? I'm on the lease. Your car? Registered to Chen Global. The room was spinning. You're moving back into the house. You're going to remember what family means. And when you've grown up, maybe we'll revisit your future. You're grounding me. I'm teaching you a lesson. He turned back to his desk. You have until Friday. Marcus will ensure all files are destroyed. And if I refuse? Dad looked at me with something like pity. Then you'll find out what it's like to have nothing. I moved back into my childhood bedroom that weekend. 32 years old with 2 master's degrees, sleeping under the same purple comforter from high school. My credit cards canceled. Bank accounts frozen. Apartment emptied by strangers. The programmers I'd hired reached out, confused and angry. I had to tell them the project was canceled. But the worst part? Everyone acted like this was normal. Marcus would pass me and smirk. Comfortable? Mom would say, maybe your father's right. Dad acted like he'd solved a problem. I had dinner duty twice a week. Curfew at 11. Weekly meetings with Marcus reviewing what I'd accomplished. It was humiliating beyond anything I'd ever experienced. But humiliation clarifies everything. For 2 weeks, I was numb. I went through the motions. Perfect, compliant daughter. And while I played that role, I was planning. If you've ever had to pretend everything was fine while your world was falling apart, leave a comment. Here's what nobody knew, I'd backed up Athena. I'd uploaded the core algorithm to a distributed cloud system 6 months earlier, accessible only through encrypted keys. Dad thought he'd destroyed my work. He hadn't even found it. Those first 2 weeks, I didn't touch it. I needed them to relax. To think they'd won. I used the time to observe. Family dinners where Dad talked about deals, quarterly reports, supplier challenges. Marcus bragging about contracts he'd closed, corners he'd cut. They spoke freely because I was harmless now. I took mental notes. Then one Tuesday when everyone was at the office, I walked to a coffee shop 4 blocks away, bought a cheap burner laptop with cash, and accessed Athena. My hands were shaking. The algorithm was exactly as I'd left it, sophisticated, powerful, and now pointed at Chen Global Industries. What Athena found wasn't just questionable accounting. It was systematic, elaborate fraud. The suppliers I'd questioned? Shell companies owned by Chen family members. Dad was paying himself, inflating costs, pocketing the difference. The stock buybacks that drove Chen Global's value up 15%? Timed with insider information from board members who got bonuses based on stock performance. The real estate deals Marcus bragged about? Purchased with advance knowledge of zoning changes, orchestrated by politicians Dad had donated millions to. Athena tracked it all. Every transaction. Every connection. Every pattern. I sat in that coffee shop for 4 hours, watching the algorithm reveal truth. Deep down, I'd always known. You don't build 15 billion in 2 decades without breaking rules. But knowing and proving are different. Now I had proof. I could have gone to the authorities immediately. I had everything the SEC needed. Instead, I went back to the house. Had dinner with my family. Smiled when Dad asked how my day was. I looked at my father, this man who had controlled every aspect of my life for 32 years. Who had dismissed my dreams, humiliated me, and genuinely believed he had the right. And I made a decision. I wasn't going to destroy him quickly. I was going to make him understand what it felt like to lose everything slowly. To watch your empire crumble while you sat helpless. I was going to teach him his own lesson. Over 6 weeks, I became the perfect daughter. Every family dinner. Every Sunday brunch. I even started showing interest in Chen Global, asking Marcus questions, sitting in on calls. They loved it. See? Dad said to Mom. Sometimes people just need discipline. Meanwhile, I was building. I created anonymous accounts on financial forums and leaked tiny bits of information. Small inconsistencies in quarterly reports. Odd vendor payment patterns. Just breadcrumbs. I contacted 3 investigative journalists using encrypted communication. Just enough to make them curious. To make them dig. I reached out to former Chen Global employees who'd left on bad terms. People who'd seen things but lacked proof. And I built a timeline. Chen Global's next major acquisition was MedTech Solutions, a medical device company. $3 billion. Closing in 8 weeks. That was my deadline. The Wall Street Journal article dropped on a Wednesday morning. Questions raised over Chen Global's supplier network. They'd traced 3 shell companies to Chen family members. Found payment discrepancies. Interviewed anonymous sources. Dad's PR team scrambled. Marcus did interviews laughing off conspiracy theories. But the stock dropped 4%. I watched from my bedroom, heart pounding. This was real. Dad called an emergency family meeting. Someone is targeting us, he said, pacing. Someone with inside knowledge. He looked directly at me. What? You think I'm talking to reporters? I kept my face neutral. Your algorithm. You destroyed my algorithm. Marcus watched me delete every file. True. They'd watched me delete everything from my personal devices. They had no idea about the backup. Maybe it's a former employee, Mom suggested. Maybe, Dad muttered. That night, I heard him on the phone. I want her monitored. Everywhere. Everyone she talks to. I smiled in the darkness. We're halfway through, and if you're feeling what I felt, that mix of terror and triumph, hit that subscribe button. Because the revenge is about to get biblical. Once truth starts coming out, you can't stop it. The journal article prompted an SEC preliminary inquiry. Just routine questions. But questions lead to subpoenas. Subpoenas lead to forensic accountants. MedTech Solutions delayed the acquisition. Additional due diligence needed. The stock dropped another 3%. Reuters found evidence of insider trading. The board members, the stock buybacks, the suspicious timing. 6% down. Bloomberg investigated the real estate deals. City planning officials suddenly remembered conversations with Chen global representatives before official announcements. 10%. Dad was falling apart. He stopped eating. Started yelling at everyone, a mom, Marcus, his assistant, his lawyer. Who is doing this? He screamed at dinner. Who? Marcus figured it out. I came home to find him in my room, holding my burner laptop. I'd hidden it under my mattress. Found something interesting, he said coldly. A laptop not on the house network. Want to explain? I smiled. You went through my room. I went through my father's house. Everything here belongs to him. Including you. Is that what you think? That I'm property? I think you're throwing a tantrum. And now you've done something that's going to destroy you. He opened the laptop. Password protected. Files encrypted. What's on here, Mia? Nothing that concerns you. Everything concerns me. I'm inheriting this company. Not you. You wanted to play revolutionary, and when Dad didn't applaud, you decided to burn everything down. Fear underneath his anger. You're hurting Mom. Destroying Dad. For what? Because he wanted you to grow up? It's about being treated like a human being. About being respected. About the fact that Dad built his empire on lies, and you know it. You've always known it. Marcus's jaw tightened. Get out of my room, I said quietly. This isn't your room. And in 3 seconds, it won't be your family either. He left with the laptop. I let him. It didn't matter. Everything I needed was already in motion. Dad called a family meeting for 7 p.m. Friday. I knew what was coming. They'd spent days trying to crack the laptop. I dressed carefully. Simple black dress. Pearl earrings from Mom. Everyone was there when I walked in. Mom, Marcus, 2 lawyers, the investigator. Dad stood by the window, looking out at Manhattan. His empire spread below in lights and glass. Do you know what you've done? He asked. Yes. The medtech deal is dead. Our stock is down 18%. The board wants an emergency meeting. The SEC has expanded their investigation. I know. He turned. You did this. Yes. Mom gasped. Marcus looked murderous. Dad just stared. Why? Because you treated me like property. Because you thought you could control me. Because you built everything on lies and expected me to be grateful. I gave you everything. You gave me nothing that mattered. Money and shame. Education with strings. Love on condition. My voice was steady now. When I tried to build something good, you destroyed it because you couldn't control it. So I showed you what happens when someone has power over you. You're out, Dad said flatly. The trust fund is gone. The family is gone. You'll never use the Chen name. I don't want your name. I pulled an envelope from my purse. Those are the encryption keys to every file. Everything Athena found. His face went white. I've sent copies to the SEC, the FBI, and 3 journalists. But these keys let you see everything first. You're turning in your own father? I'm holding you accountable. There's a difference. I turned to leave. Mia, Mom's voice broke. Please. It's already done, Mom. I walked out for the last time. Chen Global filed for bankruptcy 4 months later. The SEC uncovered everything. Criminal charges followed. Dad and 7 executives including Marcus. They're in court now. Dad's looking at 15 to 20 years. MedTech Solutions sued for damages. So did 6 other companies. Mom divorced Dad. She's in Connecticut now, in a house bought with her own family money. We talk sometimes. It's complicated. Marcus took a plea deal. 3 years minimum security. His career is over. The Chen name means something very different now. I moved to Portland. Started over. I released Athena as open source software. Now anyone can use it, the SEC, watchdogs, journalists, anyone investigating corporate fraud. Downloaded over 50,000 times. It's helped expose 3 major scandals in 6 months. I started a consulting firm helping companies audit their practices before someone like me does it for them. I'm not rich, not like Dad was, but I'm making it. And I'm building something that matters. I still think about that last conversation. The look on Dad's face when he realized what I'd done. Shock. Anger. Betrayal. But underneath, I think there was respect. For 32 years, I tried to earn his respect by being what he wanted. In the end, I got it by refusing to play it all. Here's what I learned. Your family doesn't own you. Your parents don't own you. No matter what they've given you, what they've paid for, you are not property. When someone treats you like property, dismisses your dreams, humiliates you and believes they have the right because they have power, you have the right to walk away. Even if it costs everything. Especially if it costs everything. There's a difference between revenge and accountability. Revenge is hurting someone because they hurt you. Accountability is making sure they can't hurt anyone else. I didn't destroy my father's empire because I was angry, though I was. I didn't expose his crimes to hurt him, though it did. I did it because what he was doing was wrong. And I had the power to stop it. Maybe part of me wanted him to understand what he'd done. To feel what I felt. But mostly, I just wanted to be free. It's been a year. I'm in my small Portland apartment right now. Not fancy. No marble countertops or private elevators. But it's mine. Every piece of furniture, every dish, every choice is mine. I'm dating someone. She's a teacher. She has no idea who the Chens are, and she doesn't care. She knows me as Mia, the woman who builds software and drinks too much coffee. That's enough. I miss parts of my old life. Mom. The freedom money bought. Even Marcus, before things got twisted. But I don't miss feeling owned. I don't miss performing for approval. I don't miss being small. If you're in a situation like mine, where someone who's supposed to love you treats you like an asset they control, know this. You can leave. You can fight back. You can survive without them. It won't be easy. It will probably be the hardest thing you ever do. But on the other side of that fear is freedom. And freedom is worth everything. People ask if I regret it. If I do it differently. The answer is no. Not because I'm glad Dad's in prison. Not because I'm happy Marcus's life is ruined. But because I finally proved to myself that I matter. My voice matters. My choices matter. I'm not just an extension of someone else's dream. I'm my own person. Building my own life. Making my own mistakes and celebrating my own victories. And no one, not my father, not my family, not anyone, gets to take that away. If this story resonated with you, if you're fighting your own battle for independence and respect, leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. Tell me your story. We're not alone. And if you want to follow my journey, the consulting firm, the next version of Athena, all of it, hit that subscribe button.